number today, distressed, distraught. If I almost was about to tell Larry I ain't even doing the show today. You guys seen the thumbnail. We're talking about Breonna Taylor. We'll end talking about power. But first and foremost, say her name because justice was not served. And before I give the mic to Larry, let me shout out everybody that's in here: Mike, Willie, Muchella, Trisha C. And for those that missed it, Mike Willie did send me a super chat. So Mike Willie, my brother, this is for you. And Larry too.
Yeah, go ahead and burn all that.
My king, we cannot do that. It is our tradition.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit. Burn it all!
Yeah, I'm feeling like that today. Like I'm almost about to come on over there with Larry and Killmonger because I'm so tired of this stuff that keeps happening. So in case you was under a rock today, I'm going to read something to you to set up the narrative. So I'm going to give Larry the first crack at this ball. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to put it on the screen too because this is not conjecture. This is not anything I'm making up. It says, shooting of Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor, 26-year-old African-American woman, was fatally shot by Louisville Metro Police Department officer Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hackinson, and Miles Cosgrove on March 13th this year, 2020. 3 plainclothes officers entered her apartment in Louisville, Kentucky, executing a no-knock search warrant, according to the New York Times. While the department had gotten court approval for the no-knock entry, the orders were changed before the raid to knock and announce, meaning that the police had to identify themselves. According to the police account and a witness at the scene, the officers knocked and announced their identity before forcing entry. But the police and the witness differs as to how they announced themselves. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, and 11 other witnesses denied that the officers announced themselves at all. Walker and the officers exchanged gunfire. Walker has said that he believed the officers were intruders. Officers fired 20 shots. Breonna Taylor is dead. Today we got a ruling. There was no justice. One guy, the guy that didn't shoot Breonna, he got in trouble for, ladies and gentlemen, I can't make this stuff up. I can't make it up. They invade Breonna's house, shoot her up, and kill her. But the one officer gets in trouble because his bullet went into the other person's apartment. It makes no sense to me how you get in trouble for that, but you don't get in trouble for actually killing the person whose home you invaded, which only leads me to speculate that bullet that went into the stray apartment must have been a white person. I'm going to give it to you, Larry, before I play a clip.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, this seems so blatant that it was intended to cause injury and insult, and they knew what they were doing because they had activated the National Guard and called a state of emergency before they made this announcement. So they knew the announcement was going to be some bullshit. And
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things. It's just like, it's saying, okay, we did the wrong thing. We went to the wrong house. We made a horrible mistake. The person we were actually looking for was already in custody. And instead we went to this place in a couple of, three freaking rogue Yahoo cops came shooting through the door and murdered a young woman in jail. A young woman that was a first responder, a young woman whose career it was to save lives, and they took her life. And as a response to that, they say, not only are we not going to bring charges, the only charges we're going to bring is because somebody shot into another person's apartment, because they were so reckless in their shooting that it endangered some other person that was in the apartment building, but not her. Nothing about the death, the injury, the killing, nothing of her. It's It's so heinous. It's one of those things. It's just like I at some point, I don't know when black people simply say we can't do this peacefully. They're not listening. The only way to do this is to make them feel the pain that we feel so that we can stop this. There has to be some point of reckoning. I don't know what that point is, but I can tell you right now, if we keep having people out there calling for peace, nothing's going to change. These people don't care about peace.
No, that's what they want.
They want us to sit up there. They want us to call for peace because they want us to go out there and hold hands and be lambs to the slaughter. They want us just this week. I think it was the governor of Florida was trying to introduce legislation that would make it legal for drivers to mow down protesters. So you have these protesters that are out there, and some of them are blocking traffic. They're in the streets, and some of these Trump supporters and these racist white folks have basically just taken to driving through them and hurting and killing people, mowing them down. They want to make it legal for people to do that. They're trying to say, oh, we want to make it legal for drivers who are intimidated by protesters to be able to drive through them like that. I'm like, this. I don't understand why black people don't understand this. This is not a game. These people have no value for your life. They want to take it. They want to legalize taking your life, and they're doing it. They're doing it with the police. A police officer can walk up to you on the street for no apparent reason, shoot you in the head, and not go to jail, not have any charges pressed, nothing. The most that may happen is he's going to be put on administrative leave, and even if they put him on leave without pay, all that's going to happen is he's going to get cleared and he's going to get all that back pay. And so he will have essentially gotten a few weeks or a few months of paid vacation that doesn't even take away from his vacation because it was an administrative leave. So I don't even know at this point. I mean, I stopped watching the news today. I was watching CNBC because I was like, I can watch some news that's not
in business,
you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just started watching YouTube videos today. You know, I just put my head in my computer and just worked. It was too much. It's just like, it's too much. At some point, you just have to decide, what are we going to do?
Now,
this is not working. This over here, the peaceful stuff is not working. What are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? Whatever we decide to do, I'm going to go ahead and say we should wait till November 4th and then do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because all the people that are out there, quote unquote, peacefully protesting, they showed an armed militia of nothing but white dudes walking toward downtown. They wouldn't say who they were. I'm not sure if this is the folks that are with Trump. If you guys remember, Trump had his people that was hopping out of vans, not telling the news media who they were. So you had a group of those guys looking like they were the Silver Six, going downtown, riot gear, guns, and all that. Then you've got all these other groups who come out there to instigate stuff and make things look worse than what it is. And the polling shows clearly there have been psychological tests done that show when people are motivated by fear, they tend to revert to voting conservative. And these same tactics that are currently being used, I don't know if Trump's connected to it, but I know he's not helping it. And when you have fear that was once used by a candidate named George Wallace, it really gets people upset. But the thing that I want people to be upset about is violence keeps happening to this community. And when it's time to protest, you want those people to be peaceful. When are you going to do something about the violence that propels us to the protest? It's not enough for you to try to catch an attitude and be mad that violence happens during the protest or after the protest when you're not doing anything about the problem that preempted the protest. So And another thing that has been troubling me. I mean, like I don't understand this. Why is it that these people come in Breonna Taylor's house? They were wearing plain street clothes. The boyfriend shoots, and they're allowed to spray and kill. We had something like this in Florida with George Zimmerman. Think they what's that rule, Larry? The Castle Doctrine, where or whoever it was, stand your ground, whatever the hell it was. Similar situation. People get shot up. George Zimmerman gets off. He gets off, killing somebody. I don't understand how anyone who has a child or anyone who claims they love their country, they love their fellow man, can tolerate this. I've been up here with Larry, constantly standing up for the good cops. Constantly. Always saying that
I don't believe there are any.
And that's why me and Larry argue about that, because he doesn't believe it, because this keeps happening. And nobody's taking a stand to change it. And if Larry's believing it, and he's as educated, intelligent, versed in history as they come, imagine
I come
what
from
people,
a law enforcement family. My dad was a deputy sheriff for 33 years. My dad only left his job because he had a heart attack on the job while breaking up a fight. I come from a law enforcement family. My mother was a prosecutor at the county level and the state level. My mom was a county prosecutor and then moved to become a state attorney general, a deputy attorney general. I come from a law enforcement family. Mm-hmm. One of my best friends is still a cop. You know, I mean, I am not some far left, just hate cops, liberal type person. No, I grew up around law enforcement. I grew up to appreciate them and to respect them. But what I have seen also is that there has been a change in law enforcement. I know I have seen FBI reports going back years talking about these white nationalists, racist, white supremacist groups that have been infiltrating law enforcement and the military for years. The military has done a better job, I think, than law enforcement, trying to weed them out and keep them out. But law enforcement, they don't. They seem to actively try to recruit them. I mean, it's absolute insanity. I mean, the reality of it is, at some point, Black people, Hispanic people, we're going to have to decide if we're going to protect ourselves. We're going to have to decide to protect ourselves in our own communities. The police are not going to do it for us. They have not.
Larry, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got to address this. NARS S says it keeps happening because the media is pushing it to us. I don't know this person. I got to address this because, I mean, this shit gets on my nerves. I don't know this person who made this comment. However, you get your information from somewhere. So based on what you're sitting here telling me, wherever you get your information, are you saying you don't believe it? You get information from somewhere. You're not this mythological entity that creates the stories that happen. Just because the media shows it to you doesn't mean that it's not happening. So let's just say we take your advice and we just ignore what the TV say. Shit, it's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. So whoever you are, please tell me where you get your information from. Because if you sit here and tell me you're not reading anything, you're not educated. If you sit here and say you're getting it from one specific place, that's not a smart move either. And I just got to address Jet. Just because you act like a child, turn your head, and your parent ain't there, don't mean your parent disappeared. That's ridiculous. And regardless of what perspective you come from, you got to understand, if a policeman kicks in your door, unmarked clothing, 12 people say no one announced anything, what would you do? If you had a gun and people just break up in your house with guns, you shooting too. That's exactly what you're going to do. Only problem in this situation, somebody died. My bad for cutting you off, Larry.
No, I mean, I feel you. People get up there and they speak and they say all kinds of nonsense. And for them, it's fun internet games. It's all fun internet games, but people out there in real life are dying. And as somebody who has had police officers put guns to them multiple times, it's not a game. I mean, it does not take but a split second, for someone to pull a trigger and take your life. And there's nothing that you could do about it at that point. And after that point, there's nothing that will happen to that person. I mean, when you have officers that have qualified immunity, they could do anything that they want, anything. And there's nothing that you could do about it. Nothing. Maybe they get fired, maybe. But the reality of it is that happens it's not even a full percentage point of when officers do something wrong that they actually get prosecuted and sent to jail. It's not even a full percentage point. It's like 0.04% or something ridiculous. We are really we live at their mercy and as Black people, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I really truly believe that we need another Black Panther type organization in this country. Because for those of you who don't know, for those of you who just want to talk about the Black Panthers and don't understand who they are or what they are, go do a little bit of history, do a little research, learn your history on them. They started off doing very, very simple and noble things. One of those things was in places like in Oakland, California, police officers were notorious for pulling up and beating and killing Black people in their communities. Black people would have to sit there and watch it and felt like they were powerless. So these young men and women got together and they armed themselves and they patrolled their own neighborhoods. When cops pulled up, if they were going to arrest somebody, the next thing you know, you would have 3 or 4 or 5 Panthers up there with rifles watching them, telling them, we're not going to interfere with your job, but what we are going to do is make sure that you don't beat and kill this young brother, that if you have to arrest him, that you are only going to arrest him. You are not going to sit here on the street and beat him and shoot him. And then they expanded. They started having food programs and breakfast programs and feeding the kids and helping them with homework and all kinds of other wonderful things. But we need something like this in our Black communities so that when officers do show up, yeah, it's nice that we have cell phones, but the cops don't care anymore. They simply don't care. Before, they were all worried about having body cameras. They don't care about having body cameras and having this stuff recorded. They don't care because what they've realized is it doesn't matter if this stuff is recorded. It doesn't matter if they shoot or kill or beat someone on tape. It doesn't matter if the public sees it and they're outraged. They know ultimately nothing is going to happen to them. That they are going to be protected. Their unions are going to protect them. Their fellow officers are going to protect them. The city's going to protect them. So they're not afraid of any of that shit. So the cameras filming people with your cell phone camera, yeah, that's nice. It actually provides evidence. Maybe it helps, bring a civil suit about. But ultimately, it's not doing anything. What we really need is that people have weapons on them. So when they're up there and they pull a brother over and they start shooting, or they're up there with 2 or 3 dudes and some cops sitting on a neck, you can have 5 brothers roll up there with rifles and say, you're going to get the fuck off his neck. You can arrest him, but what you're not going to do is sit there and murder this man right in front of us. Either you're going to get off his neck or we are going to take you off of his neck. That's what we need. That is what we need.
Now, let me show you guys this graphic as well. This will blow your mind. This is just us trying to draw the parallel of the inequality that is going on in this system. Now, most of the people watching this already know 70% of our jail system is not minority, it's African American. When I say African American, that's just what I mean. It's not a mix of Asian American, Hispanic, it's African American. Take a look at this graphic. You guys tell me what's wrong with this. Look at all these people that were heavily armed, simply arrested, and look at all the people that were unarmed and murdered at the hands of the police. Hands of the police. And this cat right here is the most recent one. Nothing happened. And I'm going to play a clip that also bothered me with this whole thing today from the Attorney General. He's going to be the first person you see. The second person you see is a representative in Kentucky just voicing why everything that went down was wrong. Take a quick look.
There will be celebrities, influencers, and activists who, having never lived in Kentucky, will try to tell us how to feel, suggesting they understand the facts of this case and that they know our community and the Commonwealth better than we do. But they don't. Let's not give in to their attempts to influence our thinking or capture our emotions. At the end of the day, it is up to us. We live here together. We work here and raise our families here together. I urge those protesting on the streets to remember this. Peaceful protests are your right as an American citizen.
Justice failed us today. It failed us in a way that it has been failing us for generations. We are here doing this work. I was elected to do this work because we need to make justice ring true, because it has failed. A woman, black woman, was killed in her home by the agency paid for to protect and serve her. That's wrong. There is no justifying that. And if it calls on us, and it does call on us, to change laws, to lift up Breonna's law, but to do so much more in accountability and reimagining public safety in a true sense, which is not simply more and more law enforcement being called on to be everything public safety. We have to do that work if we really want to honor Breonna. And when I leave here, I will go home to the West End of Louisville. I will see a lot of people that I love dearly hurting, even in the streets. And I want to speak to them. The last thing I'll say, this moment to me, to us, is about protecting the movement.
So one thing that had me really bothered, Larry, when we first started having these kind of conversations back in March, I didn't have this individual.
Right.
I have this individual now. And even back in March, I had apathy for those who was losing people unjustly. I had apathy for those who suffered atrocities at the hands of people that are supposed to be serving them, protecting them, legislating for them, helping them. But when I looked this chick in the eye today, I was bothered. I instantly went to this graphic. It just made me think about that. That's what it made me think about. And
yeah,
when you talk about that Attorney General coming out of his mouth to say celebrities and politicians and whoever are going to speak about issues that happen in Louisville that have never lived in Louisville, I mean, I almost want to say you need to lose your job for that shit. To say that someone who is an American can't speak about someone who's supposed to be helping provide service to another American is un-American, especially with the job you got. You just showed your bias, sir, because you're upset that people like Beyonce, people like Jay-Z, people like Rihanna have been saying that girl's name to get justice served. You don't have to live in Kentucky to know what went down with this situation. Nobody wants that to happen, no matter where the hell they live at. They can be living in England. They don't want that to happen that way. They do not want that to happen. And so, Larry, I'm going to give it to you. That bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's that dude. I felt like in that statement, he wasn't talking to anybody else but those white Kentucky voters, and that's it. He was dog whistling out to those white folks, trying to tell them that you shouldn't feel bad about what you're hearing in the news. You shouldn't feel bad about what you're seeing when you turn on your favorite sports team and you're seeing Breonna Taylor's name out there. You shouldn't feel bad when you turn on your social media platforms and you look up on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and you're seeing all these different people talking about Breonna Taylor and calling for justice. You shouldn't feel bad about that because they don't know you. They don't know Kentucky. They don't know whatever else. But what we do know is what it is to be a human being. What we do know is what it is to be Black in America. And so what he basically said was, dear white people in Kentucky, don't pay attention to these niggas. Fuck them. Fuck all these rich, influential Black people. I'm telling you, I'm the good nigga. I'm the good house nigga over here. And I want you to listen to me. That's what he said. That's what he was calling out to them. He was dog whistling to those white people saying, listen to me. Don't be influenced by all those people out there. They don't know Kentucky, and you shouldn't pay attention to them. We have good racist white cops that only kill certain Black people. That's what he was trying to say. I mean, it's just
now. Larry says
shameful what he was doing. He was literally up on stage doing some Sambo ass buck dancing for those white people. That shit was horrible. It was horrible.
Now, Larry said he used a dog whistle. I'm going to say he used a full-fledged bullhorn because guess who quickly has something to say to that AG? Oh, the president. He was all happy. He was in there telling his damn joke about he's done more for Black people than Abraham Lincoln. Oh, I'm just joking. Maybe I'm behind him. He was Johnny on the spot for his man, talking that good talk. So while Larry says dog whistle, I say bullhorn. And people, I really want you guys not to become broken. Today, the weight of everything that has happened in the last couple of weeks fell on my head today to the point, like I told Larry, I was almost about to tell Larry, I'm not doing this show because I had some time to play with my daughter for about an hour and a half while my wife was going getting her hair done. And I'm looking at this little girl thinking to myself, did we make a mistake bringing you into this mess? And then she looks at me and she giggles. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can't think like that because you could be someone that could make a greater difference. You could be someone that becomes a healer to this planet, a healer to this nation. Don't think like that. But I was bothered by this because we continue to see injustice happening to us, inequity happening to us, and people can't even coalesce around something that would normally be an issue people would coalesce behind. But for whatever the reason, we're not. So I'm here to tell you guys, the one small thing you can do is stay motivated, go vote. And then from that point, stay on your legislators. Stay on them. That's the small thing you can do.
I mean, here's the reality. There's a lot of stuff out there right now. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we're dealing with, all the COVID stuff. You have issues about the Supreme Court. And the reality of it is that there's nothing that we could do about any of that right now. I mean, if you live in a state where you have a Republican senator, sure, call your senator and let them know that you don't want them to vote for a confirmation until after the election. That's fantastic. Do that by all means. It's probably not going to make any difference because these people have decided that they are going to suck on the teat of power from Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell. And so that they're going to do what they're going to do. You know, the most important thing you can do is vote. But also remind your friends, remind your family, remind your cousins, your uncles, your grandmothers, your hairstylist, your barber, you know, your weed dealer, everybody, remind them to go out and vote. Because I seriously believe that everybody who's going to vote, that everybody's made their mind up at this point. I don't think there's any real campaigning to be done that's going to change anybody's mind. I think at this point, it's only a matter of numbers. It's a game of numbers. It's who can get their turnout, who can get the most turnout. That's it. If we can get people out there voting, then the Democrats, I believe, will win because I believe we have the numbers if we can simply get people out there to vote. We need a high voter turnout. And if we can get that, then we can win. But you have to, I just truly don't believe that there's any real point in trying to, like these debates. I don't even know if they should have these debates. For what? People, there's no Trump supporters out there that are going to change their mind and say, oh, I think I'm going to vote for Joe Biden now. So why bother with it? I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to vote for Joe Biden that's going to change their mind and say, oh, I think I'm going to vote for Donald Trump now. It's a waste of time. I think this whole thing at this point is just a game of numbers. It's just who can get their turnout, who can get the most people to turn out to vote. And that's where all of our focus and all of our aim should be, is simply getting people to go out and vote.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll pin it there. I had to say her name, Breonna Taylor. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to do what we can do from our platform on all these kind of issues to make sure we're fighting for your causes. Now, I've got to shout out my man Buzz because he super chatted and he got on me the last time, Larry, because I forgot about him. So, Buzz, this is for you, my friend.
The Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. The Bears are who we thought they were. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Buzz, that's for you, man. I thought about you. I thought about Trisha. I thought about Moochie. I thought about Chris. I thought about everyone that tunes into this thing because they know me and Larry, we're going to be raw no matter what happens. So we wanted to bring it to you. And that's what it is. I appreciate you for that super chat, my friend. Now, Larry, I'm going to try to get you upbeat. It's time to start joking. You see this guy right here?
Yeah.
Power Book 2 Ghosts has got a second season. They dropped the information just this week on their social media. How do you feel about it? And what do you think is going to be the continuing story that's going to take us into season number 2?
What story is it going to be?
Yeah. What from this season, what story will they continue into next season?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, probably, man, I don't know, man. I'm thinking maybe, I mean, something with what's his name. I'm not sure Tejada is going to get out of jail. I think they might leave him in jail this whole season. I think Tasha will probably get out, you know? So it may be that Tasha gets out, but it may not be a clean. It may not be as clean as we want to see it. It may be something where she gets out on bail, or maybe there's some sort of technicality that gets her out, and they're still going after her. So there's still this possibility that she can get out. I mean, she can go back, and there could be that whole thing about how she's going to manage this business that Tariq builds up when she's got the eyes on, when she's got the federal prosecutor's eyes on her. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, to be honest with you. What do you think?
So we've got 2 people in jail right now. We've got Daddy Tejada and we've got Tasha. We've got one who's in jail for life, and we've got one who could be facing a life sentence. Before next season, one of these 2 people is getting out of jail. And if I had to bet on it, I would probably say Tasha is not going to stay in jail. She's going to get out this season. And I could easily see them taking this story, and I think I've mentioned this before, where it's going to be a pull on Tariq. Are you going to rock with Monet, or are you going to rock with your mama? Now that your mama's out of jail and she's starting to do the game again, are you going to rock with her or Monet? I see them easily causing dissension in Tariq's ranks with these two people who could possibly be mother figures to him, Monet and Tasha. It's just a matter of what and who and where is the collateral damage going to take place this season, because this season's already filmed. So this season could kind of look like they might have wrapped it up. And I just wonder what loopholes are they going to leave so that it doesn't look like that to continue into the second season. That's what I'm thinking. I kind of feel like that they've planted seeds for the story to go long term. They've got all the seeds planted. It's just a matter of which ones of these storylines will they continue. If you want my vote, of course, Professor Megram needs to keep on going. Keep that ship right on going north. Don't even turn around. I wouldn't mind them bringing Tate back into the story. I like his character, even though I call him Short Man Tate. I do like his character, which means they might eventually bring back Larry's favorite, old forehead Ramona. Put it on you. And so we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We'll move on beyond Power. That's all I wanted to say, to let you guys know that they are going to have a season 2. Post your comments if you're excited about that. Now, Larry, let's finish this up by talking about the stock market, because that was another area that dropped maybe a micron of stress. I'm not really worried about it, but a small micron of stress. It's been totally red today. Totally red.
Yeah. It was pretty ugly.
My workhorse put is getting screwed in the butt with an ugly stick. Good gracious sake. But I'm fine because it's a good stock, so I'm not worried. But Larry, what's going on with you?
I mean, everything today was same thing. Everything was in the red. So, you know, it was looking pretty bad. Chris P. I'm blushing about. I'm not blushing about Ramona, man. I just be honest with you, all the shit that's happening in the world, I just don't really feel like talking about Power. That's all it was. Power is completely insignificant when you have people murdering women in their beds, you know, and there's no recourse. I mean, there was just another story today about a young brother that was in his house. He bought a new house, was there. His neighbors basically said, oh, there's somebody that we don't recognize over there, a black person. So they basically kicked in his door and had him at gunpoint in handcuffs inside of his own house. Wow. You know? I mean, there was a woman that lives over in New York. She bought a new house, and for her and her daughter, her neighbors were harassing her so bad they were throwing human feces on her lawn and putting all kinds of stuff, doing all kinds of stuff, tormenting her, harassing her. It was so bad that she posted a big sign in her window explaining what was going on in case if someone didn't hear from her, didn't find her, explain that something might have harmful might have happened to her. Someone posted on Instagram, it went viral. This young brother that went over there basically and decided he was going to just watch out for her. So this young brother was over there for like 90 days, I think. It's already been 60. He said it's going to be like 90 days because they finally arrested the next door neighbors who have been harassing her. But this is crazy. The police told her there's nothing they could do. There's nothing that they could do until somebody harmed her. So they can vandalize her property. They can throw feces at her house. They can say all kinds of things. They can do all kinds of horrible, ratchet shit to her. And the police can't do anything for her until someone actually harms her, physically harms her. And so they just say whatever. But this young black man decides he's going to take up the cause. So this is a dude that works from 9 to 5 apparently. So he would get off of work, get to her house at 6 o'clock and basically stand guard at her house from 6 at night to 6 in the morning, where he would then go home, shower, and go to work and repeat. And he's done this every day for 60 something days. And the police, he said for about the first week, the cops would send 2-3 cars out there, and they would sit out there all night and point their high beams at his car and they're like, so they can't do anything to protect her. But when a black man decides he's going to go protect this woman, they all of a sudden have three cars with officers that they can spare to go look and try and harass him so that he'll leave. So I'm not blushing about Ramona. I'm pissed off because this country is so fucked up, because our police, our judicial system, our policing structure, everything is so fucked up and vile towards black people. I don't have time to worry about fucking Ramona. I don't have time to worry about Tariq. Fuck them. It's a TV show. They're not even real people. You know?
Right.
It's
Man.
a TV show.
And that was one reason why, Larry, I was about not to come up here, because I don't have that kind of energy for something that's fake. I really didn't. I mean, the only reason I even talked about them getting renewed is because I know a lot of people come here wanting to hear that. But I really didn't have the energy to talk about that, because we've got real deal power issues going on in this country. And I need people to get out there and start literally getting this country to go in the right direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put a pin in it right there. Shouts out to everybody that came in here. Ash just popped in. What's up, Ash? Diva K3 Love, Long Island in the house. Chris P, Jamie Todd, everybody, we appreciate you, Buzz. We appreciate you. Hopefully, we can get some good news. Things can be better. A little bit anyway. Something that lifts our spirits up. And we'll be back at this thing again on Friday. Any parting words, Larry?
Vote. Wear a mask and vote.
Wear a mask, vote. And if your state allows it, North Carolina's doing the mail-in ballots right now. Get your ballot mailed in, people.
And that's going to do it for Republican governor. If you live in a state with a Republican governor, or excuse me, a Republican senator, call them. Call them and tell them do not vote for confirmation of a Supreme Court justice until after the election. Call them.
Exactly. As best you can. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, get yourself that life gain. Till that next Sexy as Hell video, be safe.